Thank you so much for joining us for this cooking segment. I'm Verna Odoom, and I wanted to just cook a meal and let you know about how I handle some of Micah's allergies. Those of you who have been following my blog know that we have a 2-year-old son who has a lot of food allergies. He's allergic to tree nuts, peanuts, soy. He's also allergic to bananas and turkey. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make a pizza. Obviously, a lot of the pizza doughs that I have found, and breads in general, have soy in them or are made someplace that has also manufactured nuts. So what I did was a lot of research to find some crusts, and the reason I did that and didn't make my own crust, we tried to make a crust ourselves, and Micah just did not like it. It was one of those that was from a dedicated nut-free facility, but when he tasted it, he was not having it. So we went out and we found this one, or I did. It's called Kinnikinnick Foods is who makes it. It is gluten-free, wheat-free, dairy-free, soy-free, and trans-fat-free. And it is also made in a facility that is dedicated to not use peanuts or tree nuts. So this was very important when we found this. And you know, all kids love to eat pizza. Micah really enjoys it. So this is a real treat when we make this. I usually make most of Micah's foods from scratch. So I just had to buy the dough, and I'm going to now show you, or the crust rather, and I'm going to now show you how I put together his pizza. Micah pretty much just likes a couple of ingredients, but we need to make the crust a little more tasty. They're kind of bland. So what I usually do is I start with an olive oil, and I just scoop out a little bit and put it on each of the crusts. And I actually just spread it sometimes with my hand, sometimes with a spoon. I'm going to spread it out with a spoon today, and you just want a little bit. It's not very much, maybe a teaspoon and a half, just enough to cover it and kind of give it a good crunch when it comes out of the oven. It makes it a little more crisp. And these I've kept in the freezer, so you want to kind of take them out and maybe cut your ingredients first so that you have these ready and they can come right out of the freezer and you can just go. The next thing I do is put a little pinch of salt because, again, it's kind of bland, and this gives it a little punch and a little flavor. Not too much, but just a little pinch on each one of the crusts, pizza crusts. And I also put garlic on there because, again, we want to give it a good little flavor. So I spread that pretty thin, but you do want to put enough so that you have garlic on all parts of the pizza crust. So I'm doing 2 of these because, actually, you will see in a minute, Micah, as I said, likes a pretty basic pizza, but I also make pizzas for myself and my husband, and we like a lot more of the ingredients on ours. So one of these is going to be for Micah, and one is for my husband, John. All right, so we have those pizza crusts covered with our olive oil and our garlic. The next thing we're going to do, I went ahead and chopped some basil and some parsley, so that's going to give it even more flavor. You kind of want to just sprinkle it pretty liberally. I didn't chop a lot. I probably should have done a little more, but you're going to get the idea of just how you kind of just put it on there. Sprinkle it on both. And my next ingredient is going to be cheese. Now, what the cheese is going to do at this point is really just help the ingredients stick to the pizza. I'm going to wipe my hands off. So the next thing we do is put our cheese on. And I'm going to put the parsley. You can do the cheese and parsley. It really doesn't matter what order. It's nothing fancy, nothing really specific. And the amount is just really to taste. So you have to decide what you like. And there are other ingredients and herbs that you can use if you like other kinds of herbs. Rosemary might give it a nice kick. You might be able to use a little mint to give it a little fresh taste. Just depends on what you like. Cilantro, I'm not a big cilantro fan, but a lot of people are. So just depending on what you want is how you will make your pizza. So those are covered really nicely. And again, we're going to put the cheese on. I need to wipe my hands off so I'm not getting too much of a mess over here. And our cheese is the Parmesan cheese, and I just bought it in the grocery store. And again, I researched all the ingredients that I use. So this cheese that I found was made without any kind of soy, and it does not have exposure to tree nuts or peanuts. So you're going to want to make calls. If you are somebody who has allergies, or if you have a child who has food allergies, you might even need to call. And most of the companies now even put their number right on the box so that you can call them. Now, Micah, as I said, really enjoys tomatoes, or a few ingredients. One of them is tomatoes. So I'm just going to put his tomatoes on. I pretty much line them up. I have these sliced, and I put on maybe about 9 or so, because I want him to have one in each bite. That's beautiful. The other thing he loves on his pizza is mushrooms. Now these mushrooms, I didn't use fresh. I used some out of a jar. And again, I called the company to find out if they were made in a facility that did not have any cross-contamination concerns. And they were not. And I go ahead and put these on. You can use fresh, but these have a nice liquid in them and they just have a really nice flavor. So they've worked really well for me. So I just found them in the grocery store. And you can just buy any kind of ingredients that you want. Anything you want to put on your pizza. Now, my husband enjoys Micah's pizza. Let me start again. Micah's pizza is going to be a white pizza. So his basically has garlic and cheese. I'm going to put some more cheese on his. But my husband likes barbecue pizza, which I'm just going to sprinkle some on top of this cheese. Sometimes I put it right on the crust. Sometimes I put it on the chicken. This time I'm just going to sprinkle it on the cheese. And again, there's no perfect science to this. It's all just to give it the flavor that you want. And some people use spaghetti sauce. I've also thought about doing a fresh sauce for Micah because I don't use the barbecue sauce for Micah because of his allergies. And this one does have an exposure to nuts in the facility. So I don't use that, this one, with Micah's. All right, so I'm going to put my husband's ingredients on the other pizza. He loves tomatoes. And Micah's is really done. We're just going to slap this one together pretty quickly. And we're also going to put mushrooms on his. And he enjoys onions. So we're going to add onions. Oh, that smells excellent. I wish you could smell these herbs. They are great. So really use the ones that you like, and it's going to give you a great flavor. So we go with some onions, and I break these up pretty nicely. All right. And I know you're thinking nothing else could possibly fit on that pizza, but we also want to add some chicken. Okay. And I just boiled this chicken a little while ago and cut it and shredded it myself, and a friend of mine who lives here, my best girlfriend, is here, and my husband helped too because I wanted to get this done pretty quickly, but typically I do it solo and it works out really well. All right, so we have all of our ingredients. Now, what's missing? The cheese. The cheese is going to seal it off and keep all those wonderful ingredients on the pizza. So we put another layer of cheese on top. And it almost looks like a salad. It's so full, but believe you me, this crust is very hearty, so it is going to be able to support all of these ingredients. Okay, and that pretty much looks like we're done. So we're going to place it in the oven, and we are going to cook. And I set my oven to about 350. It only takes about 10 minutes to actually cook it. And there's a nice pizza stone that makes it nice and crisp on the bottom as well, the crust. I'm going to close that. It is cooking, and we will see you in just a minute. All right, and we're back, and we want to take a look at that pizza. It's been in here for about 12 minutes. Oh, I wish you could smell this. It is excellent. So it has a nice brown crust, and the ingredients have all melted together. I'm going to cut into it and just take a little quick bite. And like I said, it smells incredible. All right. But the proof is going to be in tasting. And what I did was broil it too to give it kind of a little more of a crunch. All right. That is incredible. Excellent pizza. Micah's going to love it. He's taking a nap right now, by the way, so this is a good time. I might eat a little bit of his, and then he will have some later. Thanks so much for joining me, and we're going to be back with another segment really soon. Take care. Good eating.